We're going to do our very own hit and miss engine show. All these engines are on my channel, on my videos, but it's been some months because I've been playing with the tractor here. You can see a couple of mods on that. This was a pencil case, I believe. Because I've been playing with these engines, I haven't run the hit and miss engines for some time. These are all 4-stroke petrol hit and miss, proper hit and miss engines. Okay, let's look at them one by one. Gin Microcosm brand, 6cc's, around $300. There are mods. I mean, I've done the base on this and a bunch of other things. The bearings, this little handle for the richness. There's a bunch of little mods on there that we're not really going to go into, but what we are going to compare is ease of use, reliability, and ease of getting them to run that nice slow chuff way. The next one we're going to compare a little bit more expensive than the $300 odd you pay for this. The Enjomor is around $350. You can get it on eBay or through Engine DIY, Stirling kit. This is possibly more accurate than this one. This one is a no castings model. This one is a as many castings as possible model. This one comes with terrible roller bearings for the main crank, and this one comes with the proper brass bushes that you would want. However, for most people, the governor does not work on this one, not very well, and so you don't get a proper hit and miss. I've got an adjustable spring pressure on the hit and miss latch here, and that helps me to get this engine to run exactly at the speed I want, particularly once it's warmed up. You can just change that on the fly. This one only fires when it's supposed to because of the mechanical switch on the valve. This one in factory form fires every time the engine rotates, but I've put a switch on here so it only fires every time that that valve is in the correct place for it. Moving on, we've got two more engines from Gin, later models. We've got this, and it utilizes a ball governor. Very fiddly small fine work in there. Show you that running in a minute. And again, I've put a switch on the top for the valves that only fires when it's supposed to, not every time it goes around. I've got a little wooden muffler on there just because I like the sound of it, and because hit and miss engines can run so cool, a wooden muffler is fine. Again, we're going from no castings to lots of castings. This is probably the most attractive hit and miss engine I've got. Was the most difficult to get running the way I want. It's very fiddly in here. The shape and size of the parts have got to be exact. Yeah, it's a good looking vertical engine. The compression's not great on that yet. I never had to do anything with the valves of this one, but these three other ones I have done valve seal work. I wouldn't really call it valve grinding. It involves spinning the valve around with a bit of jiff or something like that. The materials that these are made of are not hardened steel, so they're fairly easy to work on. They need a roller following the cam, but they need that, otherwise they're just going to wear out that cam. So we're going to see if we can get these going. Okay, so the reason I've chosen these engines is because they are, you know, sufficiently different from each other. This hit and miss engine from Gin was the first, was the Mark II hit and miss engine that he created. He then created a bunch of them with a different hit and miss mechanism, but the same body, piston, size, box. Okay, so I've only got... But I believe these have got the same capacity, 6 cc, 6 cubic centimeters capacity each, same size flywheel wheel. This is the Microcosm M90, and this is Enjomor's Hit and Miss. Microcosm makes a lot of other engines. This is their model of what's called SAM. They call it M19 at Microcosm. It's a 1.6cc hit and miss engine. They also make a horizontal version of this engine. And this is the hit and miss version of their big H75 Holt engine. This is a 2.6cc. So again, it's sufficiently different from this one. It's not just the horizontal version of that one. Jin also makes a micro version of this one. In preparation to get these running, I'm going to take out the spark plugs and clean them, and I'm also going to put a few drops of oil inside them. And this one, you just drop it down into the piston. On these ones, you put it through the hole at the side there. And obviously we're going to oil all the other points, and then we're going to use petrol, which is around probably getting close to 25 to 1. I've checked all the batteries, and we're going to see how hard or how easy each one is, and we're going to get that wonderful sound of a hit and miss display at a show. To remove the spark plugs, we're going to use my long socket, which is a drilled out 8mm socket with another drive socket soldered onto the end. We also have the option of this short long socket, which is another one drilled out to take the spark plugs. But this one is for use in the new, specifically it was made for this engine here, where the spark plug can't take a normal socket. It's on an angle pointing at the edge of this. I'm going to use the long one today. It's a bit easier. I can use the drive on it. And then we're going to clean these spark plugs. That one's dirty and needs cleaning. This SAM M19 does need a clean after every time it's run. It might just be the way that I've got it. This one over here, really not bad at all, but it's still worth cleaning. And the Enjomor, yeah, that's a mess as well. So they're all worth cleaning. To get in, cleaning one of these little spark plugs properly involves using a brush and brushing in, just really cleaning in there like that. So I'm actually going to use meths today for a change. I've always used petrol, but hey, why not alcohol? It's a little bit easier to deal with than a petrol can, Hold the bristles in and twist like this. Hold the bristles in and twist until that's really clean. So here I'm just making sure that the wire at the end of the high tension line is fitting in all the way. And so I want to feel it brush against the end of this. It doesn't come from the factory like that. They just have these wires chopped off. The high voltage wire just chopped off. But I usually take a little bit of the rubber off so we can really feel the end of it hitting against that the end of the plug, which I haven't done up, have I? Just forgot to do that up properly. If you're concerned about short circuits, you could make sure that the high voltage wire isn't touching any part of the engine. It's going to give you the best, cleanest chance of getting a spark in there. Okay, so the spark plugs are all cleaned. Today I'm going to change to a proper small engine oil, SAE 30, and whereas in the past I've just used the oil out of my car. Now, over time, the atmospheric intake valve can just get a little bit stuck and make starting up tricky. So I want to put a tiny bit of a very light engine oil on that atmospheric valve. Perfect. Anyway, everyone will have their own different method. Here, this is my method. Before we start them, I'm going to just make a mark on the ones of these that have left there, that have lost their on and off switch. Which is which? So, if I turn this on, yep, that's definitely on. So I'm going to make a wee mark there. See if I can remember the position of the switch. We get some fuel in our syringe. They generally start best if they are pretty much full. Particularly if they haven't been running for a while, because you might have a bit of dried out oil in the carburetor there, and that's definitely cause for trouble starting. Okay. You can hear it. Okay, that's a good start. I'm just going to hold the governor out like that because we're using a thicker oil than we've ever used. And when it's warming up, starting to warm up a little bit, because this engine runs pretty much cold. And it's cold so far. See, if I let this go, I reckon it would stop. Oh well, maybe not. Well, how beautiful is that? That's after months and months. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'll just help you out a wee bit there, I think, engine. As the fuel goes through that carb, it's going to clean it out a bit. Engine's going to warm up a bit. You can already hear it running a bit steadier. And that's a very steady, smooth running engine, as you can hear. So I always have a soft spot in my heart for this, the first hit and miss engine. Even though it needed new bearings, the timing needed doing, the valve timing needed improvement, and a bunch of other things I've done. Now you know that this is running this slow because I've changed the springs here on the governor and a bunch of other things. So it's just how this runs is not a great reflection on the original engine, which would have run faster than this. Right, let's start the next one. Okay, good. That seems to be working. That little bit there tells the engine not to spark unless the valve is in the correct closed position. We should now have some life in this engine. There we go. Look at that. I just love that engine. Right, let's get number 3 going. We're going to get this one going now. This is the only water-cooled engine among the motors we've got here today. Okay, and generally I start this one with the machine here because the compression is not great on this motor. First of all, we need to see if there's petrol all the way up there, and there is not. And we'll just get that fuel. We can feel it sucking, that's a good start. Right, we're going to fuel up the Enjomor. This one is probably the fussiest in terms of where that is. Okay, I can feel petrol coming out of there now, so that's a good start. Then my memory tells me you close this completely. breathe it. I can hear the spark. Breathe there with the exhaust open, and then that's what my memory tells me. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Under there's another spring pressing against the latch, and you can back that off or tighten it up. And get that engine running so nicely. So now, which is my favorite? Which should you buy if you haven't bought any yet? I've always found this one easy to start, easier than this one. But they did all need some work to get them running what I consider perfectly. Let's go through some of that work now. This one, the balls were hitting the side of the fins there. When the balls of this were hitting the side of that. So I've bent each one of those in slightly so that that doesn't happen. The big problem with this is this metal part here goes up through there, and as that wears, this starts to wiggle from side to side, and that causes the governor to not work so well. But this engine seems to be well made and runs really well. Starts with no trouble at all. This engine is more expensive and prettier. Doesn't start as easily as this one, M19, and the governor was a real pain to get working correctly. Also, I don't think the bearings are as good in this one. The worst bearings are in this one over here. The main bearings are roller bearings that just fail, so I've replaced those. Once those are replaced and things are tightened up, this engine is probably the easiest to work on, and one of the easiest to start. So there's a lot to be said for that motor. Finally, this one. Is it the best looking? Yeah, it probably is. Doesn't come with a base. You've got to use the base. I mean, you make yourself a base. I made this base. Once it's going, yeah. Oh, look, I had problems with the piston ring in that one from the factory. The governor didn't work. That's the problem with most of them, and the engine just revs and revs and revs. Took a bit of work, but I'm probably, yeah, look, geez. Maybe this is my favorite. Maybe it is. So if I had to rank them, yeah, look, I always thought that this H model over here was the most good looking. It's hard to go past the red on this one, isn't it? Thank you for joining me today. We're going to run more of these other engines in the next couple of months. I'd like to thank everyone who's got to this end of the video, and encourage you to press the subscribe and the like buttons, and if you want to get notified, press the bell as well. Thank you for watching. Okay. They all have their charm. Let me try and choose a favourite. You know what? It's probably between these two, and it could well be this one. So we're going to get these 4 running today and compare Chinese, all of them. This one I have worked on the valves, this one I've worked on the valves, this one I've worked on the valves, this one I never needed to.